This is the theme song for the live stream of consciousness. You've got to ask yourself whether reality is a dream or if you are dreaming reality. We are all a part of the answer to the meaning of it all. Come in and join us for the moment we call now. Rise up, join in, raise the whole vibration. You are the master of reality's creation.
Yes, you are, and you are, and you are, and you are. Just like Romper Room, I see you all out there creating reality with me right here in this moment. Thank you so much for showing up and being here in this moment and helping me create this reality. I'm super pumped for tonight's show and tonight's conversation. It's rare, I think, that you get to meet somebody that charges you up with a vibration, right? Like you're just like, oh wow, this person's cool, I'm excited to talk to them. And that's what's going to happen tonight, so I'm excited for that. What is up, Ninja Kitty? Good to see you in the front row as always since day one. I love seeing you there. Thank you for being here. I don't know if who's out there. Sometimes the comments are slow to come in. I see some numbers. I see some people out there. I just want to feel your energy. So it doesn't really matter what those numbers are. If you're in the chat, say hello, say hashtag live like Tim Lorenz. Just interacting with the chat, just hashtag, even just hashtag in the chat tickles the algorithm and lets the algorithm know that there's somebody watching and that maybe somebody else will like it and it'll put it out there a little bit more. So and I see our guest in the chat room there hashtagging live. Super excited to introduce you guys. Speaking of vibrations, we need Sage. Very good. I like that. What's up, me and my shadow? Good to see you. What's up, Jennifer McCormick? Good to see you as well. Let's get on with the vibrations. Ninja Kitty's been here since day one. We didn't do this since day one. I just kind of started doing this. I was inspired by Brian Lahr, the wizard, my friend, who does a show, and he does a bit of a practice. So he does some breath work and breathing and all of that. And it just reminded me how amazing breathing is, right? And the fact that we breathe all day long. We don't think about breathing. It just happens. It's part of what keeps us alive. But when I started doing meditation, one of the things in meditation is connecting to your breath, right? A lot of people are like, I don't know how to meditate. I can't do it. And connecting to your breath, I felt like was the key to it and like the easiest way to understand it, right? For people who don't understand it. So what I do here on the show is I clear the space kind of intentionally with intention. I breathe 3 times in and out. Through my nose, I breathe in. Through my mouth, I breathe out, intentionally feeling it pass through me, come in and fill me up, leave my body, and I relax into my seat. And I offer it to you guys to do 3 breaths together to kind of set the intention. Sage, my co-host here, my singing bowl, always helps me kind of guide through it. So if you guys are ready for Sage and the frequency and the vibration, let's take 3 deep breaths. Here we go. In through the nose. Slowly hold it up at the top and then feel yourself let it out. Push it out. Let it out. Feel your shoulders sinking down. Feel your butt in the chair. Let's do another breath in through the nose. Hold it up at the top for 1 second and then just breathe it out. Let it go. You don't need it. It passes through you. It's like in and out. It's the flow of life. Last one together. You could feel it. You could feel the cool air fill you up. And then you could feel it leave. And what happens there, besides the breath and connecting to the breath intentionally, is the blood starts to flow. And physiologically, we can feel a little buzz, which I love. Always love a little buzz. And just let Sage finish ringing out there. Breathing is fundamental. Awesome. Thank you guys for indulging me. And we've got Enigma XLR here too. We've got another personality from our guest, which I'm excited again to speak to. And I see Brenda Lucas out there. What's up, Brenda Lucas? Good to see you as well. So let me tell you the quick story. And I guess do a little bit of a plug. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about this. So there's a guy who's been on the show before. His name is Jesse Howell. He had a show. I think he may be coming back. I don't know if he's going to be doing his show, but he had a show called The Missing Link. Something when I started doing my show kind of came up in my feed. He was talking to a lot of amazing people who had just a lot of amazing ideas about a lot of things that were going on. And some of the ideas felt, alien to me. They didn't necessarily feel like things I knew about. And some of them they resonated with me. Some of them felt really good. But it was part of kind of my understanding myself in how I love to explore the universe, and in a non-judgmental way. I try to be non-judgmental. The human part of me, the ego part of me still holds on to that occasionally, but there's a part of me that's aware of that. And so as I navigate through life, I can kind of gauge my judgment and gauge my awareness. And what's up, Scott Pace? Good to see you. Oh, I lost you as some comments came in there and I went to click on you. Good to see you, Scott Pace. Aho to you. Aho to the north, to the south, to the east, to the west. I love all of that. Oh, thank you so much for reminding me of that. So anyway, back to the story. Jesse Howell, he had this thing before The Missing Link called the High Vibe Love Tribe, which during COVID, I think was when it kind of was born. And it was so cool because basically it was him just dancing on screen. He'd have like some club music playing. He was dancing, but he was actually really exercising. He was doing intentional body movement and exercising, him and the woman he was in a relationship with at the time, Angeline. And they would invite people on to add their camera and dance along with them. And I don't know what it was about what they were doing, but it just felt so inviting that one day I did it, and I joined. And I put some lights on in my room and I was dancing, and it just felt so good to dance around and move around. You forget sometimes to move your body, and there's a lot of frequency in that, right? There's the sound frequency of the music, there's the frequency of your movement, there's the frequency of that connection happening at the moment, and it was just so cool. Anyway, introduced me to a whole new world. And recently with vibe coding, I've been able to kind of start something, and we started the High Vibe Love Tribe. So I'm just going to share that with you for 1 second before I bring Paul on here. The High Vibe Love Tribe is a website that I kind of created through vibe coding. What's so cool about vibe coding is that this website is live, but I can go in anytime, excuse me, and I can interact with the AI that I used to create it. And I could say, hey, I want a new function. I want to be able to do a camera chat room. Let me just sign in here. Show you guys. Whoop, I signed in with the wrong address. I'm sharing my screen and I'm screwing up here. Hold on, sign in. Let's continue with Google. Let's go in my account here, and the High Vibe Love Tribe. Here we go. Some people are joining. As people are joining, you can upload your picture. Some people don't always like to do that. You can see the different members. There's Jesse. So I can click on Jesse's profile and see Jesse's profile, kind of like a little social media network, but I've created a live chat room. So anybody logged into the site at that time can chat, almost like old school AOL chat room. I know people could do this on Facebook, but I felt like the High Vibe Love Tribe has a certain appeal to it, and I would love people to sign up, and I would love to build a community here in the High Vibe Love Tribe and have kind of our own space to get together and talk and do stuff. So if you're interested in that stuff, check it out, High Vibe Love Tribe. And I'm looking at my banners and I realize I have my old banner up there. Let me hide that banner. Sometimes I start the show and I forget that I had a little banner up there. So there you go. Let's put this one up here now. I hate to make my guest wait because I'm so excited to talk to him. But part of what I do is the love of this seeking the truth, which is part of what I want to talk about tonight with my guest. And so I watch a lot of podcasts with different people, and they're all doing that. They're having the conversation, which is, I think, the important thing. So some of the things that I like to watch and I recommend is Wisdom from North. This is woman Yannicka, who has some amazing conversations. Next Level Soul, Alex Ferrari. Third Eye Drops, Michael Phillips, I believe is his name. I forget his name. Segi, who will be on the show from the Paradigm Experience. Acid for Squares. My friend Cody and his wife Tanya are doing some amazing stuff with that show. They just had Luis Elizondo on their show. They've had some interviews with who they have George Norrie on their show. They had Danny Goler, the guy who discovered the matrix code in lasers and DMT. I don't know if you've heard that story, but so many amazing stories. Elizabeth April, Bashar, they've had Bashar on their show, like just incredible conversations. And what's important is, and for me anyway, what's important for me is I don't look at any of these people like I'm following them or like I'm worshiping them. I'm excited to see my reflection in them. Some of the things that they talk about resonate, even when things don't resonate. I don't know if you guys remember when I had Flat Earth Dave on the show. That was one of my favorite conversations, being able to find common ground outside of like core beliefs, right? Like I don't believe in flat earth, and being able to find common ground with that person, and the common ground is that something ain't right. You know what I mean? We don't know exactly everything, and that's what I agree with. I believe that flat earth is kind of a reflection of that idea, right? Like we're not being told quite everything, and that's where we found common ground, and that's great. Cody is killing it. Yes, Tim says Cody is killing it. And Jennifer says, I watch Wisdom from North and Next Level Soul. Awesome. Yeah, these are just, again, things that I'm sharing. Take the important thing, what Elizabeth April always says. She says, if it resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. And I think that's a part of creating reality, right? Is just that. So I have babbled for way too long, and I want to get this conversation going. So I met this guy on that show, and the conversation started, and it was just amazing because it was like ideas that I wrestle with and I don't really know much about, but the way that he was presenting them was with such love and authenticity that it came through. So I want to welcome to the live stream of consciousness for the first time, Mr. Paul Everton. Welcome.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Michael. It's a pleasure to be here. Unexpected. I didn't expect to be a guest on a podcast, but I enjoyed all my guests, and I did the banner thing too, just like you.
Yeah, that's great. And actually, you reminded me, I did not even put in that introduction kind of who you are. Paul Everton, I spoke mostly about the High Vibe Love Tribe. Paul Everton is the host of The Truth Table, a podcast very much like the live stream of consciousness that is just about seeking. It's about accepting. It's about, having guests show their piece of the puzzle with no judgment and with excitement and love, which I love about your personality and your essence. I also, exploring you a little bit, I saw that you're a musician, which just made a lot of sense. I feel like there's a lot of connection to source in being a musician and in creativity in general, any sort of creative, hobby. And I saw you, and that was you playing guitar on that Pink Floyd video. Is that correct?
Yeah, this is my first music award.
Wow. And what is that award? Tell us about
That's for original instrumental music. I was in 2017, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So you just put out an album of your own instrumental?
Yeah, and I toured for many years in a band. I did classic rock, country rock. I opened up for famous people, Reba McEntire.
Nice.
Um, Ronnie Hawkins showed up at one of my jobs and hired me, and
Amazing.
yeah, and it was, and I never even had a record, but Ontario Country Music Awards nominated me for. I got nominated for male vocalist without a record, so that to me was like making it, you know.
That's amazing. No, that totally is amazing. Yeah, there was something about you, like I said, you just seem to have this kind of vibration where like you just really connected to life
Oh
and your own essence.
yes, you know. I know we can get into so many amazing stories and details and things that are really important and profound to empower our friends out there. And,
Hmm.
that's really what the Truth Table was about. And it started a long time ago. And like you had a guest medium, and I was in a musical when I was 16 years old. And the director of the musical went to have her tarot cards read, and I was in the reading. And she wanted me to go, but my gut said, no, I'm not interested in that. And my gut has always been right on. Even as a child, I would never say amen at the end of a prayer. And I didn't know why, but I just stopped myself. I never said it. And I found out later it was an Egyptian lower level Anunnaki, basically, a low level, digging the Euphrates. That's what they did. They dug the Euphrates River, and they rebelled, and they didn't like it. But he was one of the lower levels. He was what they call an Igigi, Igigi.
Mm.
That's how it's spelled, but that's like lower level. And in the Sumerian tablets, they have different levels. They have the admirals, and they had different levels of authority in that document. And Amen was a lower level. He has a smaller casket, in his burial, what have you. But I didn't connect with that as a child. I didn't know what that, I had no idea. But like the creator was always been like very protective, it seems.
Hmm.
And when I was 16, the like I said, the director wanted me to go. She said, "I'm paying for it. Just go." I don't know what she told her, but she wouldn't tell me what the psychic told her.
Hmm.
But then
Hmm.
I went and sat with the psychic. Actually, the first time I saw the psychic, I was performing Maple Leaf Village in Niagara Falls. We were singing for the musical Hair. So I was the
Cool.
lead. I was the lead in that musical, and
Wow.
she was right at front, and you can't miss her because she was like had long white hair, and she was sitting beside she was white and long white hair, and sitting beside a black priest. They were just like stood right out from everyone else. But she started crying and she left. Then when I went and sat with her, she started bawling. She was crying and crying and crying, and it's just crazy, the experience. I don't need to tell you what she said, but after that experience, I there was a lot of uh, girls, because I was the lead, and a lot of the
Hmm.
girls were chasing me, and
Yeah.
so it got too much for me. I was only 16, but I ended up putting a rope around my neck and hanging myself, and I woke up. So I hung myself, and the rope was like that thick. It was like a real thick rope, and it was flat, like the microphone. It was there, and rope doesn't break that way. It gets like frizzy hair.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I knew right away at that moment that the creator is real and saved me, and that I had a purpose. So my prayer at that point was to find him, to discover him, to find him. And that's been my goal. And I really think I really feel like I have uncovered a lot. And the truth table is a part of that too. Mostly it's just a lot of the episodes is just people's experience, whistleblowers within different agencies and the government, nurses, just to archive people's, show people what's going on behind the scenes in these different levels of government,
Hmm.
including military. I've had military whistleblowers, FBI, CIA. But as I was saying earlier, I did one show on the popes, and it was wiped from the surface of the earth.
Yeah, you
It-
were telling me before the
oh,
show about that. So Paul did a
yeah,
show about the Vatican,
the
and
popes, yes.
yeah, and
And
what happened there?
I didn't. I mean, nobody knows that there's four popes, but Pope Gregory changed our calendar from 13 moon cycles, 28 days.
Mhm.
So the Vatican's role, all hell leads to Rome. All the bad things lead to Rome. Starting with Pope Gregory, he's an example. Also, they took out the Book of Enoch, where they named the serpent Gadriel, or
Mhm.
God, and God was inserted all over the Bible. So in my process of trying to find the Creator, I read the Bible. I read a lot of books. The Gita. I know you had a guest on about the Gita. Beautiful book, and it just kind
Mhm.
of wrapped its arms around all the other ideologies. For
Mhm.
me,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
it really just went wow. So I think Godriel doesn't want us to read the other books. They want us to be enemies and fight, and that's what I've discovered. But my gut again told me, go look at the original, because the first line just it didn't resonate. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and I felt what's going on here. So I looked at the original Hebrew, and I went word by word by word and translated. And Gadriel, uh, see the power of words. I sorry to go off course, off rail,
That's all
but
right. This is kind of where I wanted to go, but we'll catch everybody up.
yeah, yeah, like the power of the word. Like when you say "I love you," there's so much power in that, especially if you mean it. And God is really how this is how you say Gadriel. So he has replaced his name thousands of times, including Baal, which is translated as Lord. So I mean, the book has been uh, Gadriel is literally in charge here. He is the god of this world. Vatican is Latin for Vatiscan, which means divining serpent.
Mhm.
And that's what he is. He's a divining serpent. He's a child of the creator, just like we are.
Mhm.
You know, he was definitely exceptional and beautiful and all these things. And, the creator loved him and what have you. But now he's a snake,
Mhm.
but he's not a stupid snake. And he's much older than Adam and Eve. So he has a lot of wisdom, and only the creator in my faith gave me the vehicle to find the truth, because he was brilliant, masterful with what he did and how he did it. Because the first word is Rashith in Hebrew. It doesn't mean in the beginning. In the beginning in Hebrew is Tequila, so it's another word. There is a word for it. So there is a deliberate lie, right? The first word. So right away, I knew my gut was right again, that I had to look at the original. And Gadriel replaced Elohim,
Mhm.
the second word. The first word means before Elohim. The first and second word, before Elohim fashioned the firmament. So Elohim is like mankind, includes women, men, and children. It's like mankind, all of us.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Humanity.
Elohim, it means all of them, male, female, gods, goddesses. Then I found not too far, the second verse, the second line, Ruach. They and multiple religions changed her. The Torah calls her the wind. I think it's Torah. I might have them backwards, but the Bible calls it the
Mhm.
Spirit of God, the wind of God. So all of them. See, this is how I know Gadriel is involved with all of them, because they also use the word Jesus, and that was not his name, and that matters. If you address me as Peter, you're not speaking to me. You're deflecting from me,
Mhm.
and that's why words are so important.
Mhm.
And that's why Gadriel is so has really established his, he's really deflected everyone's prayers um, through the deception, And he shows me that he is definitely in charge. He is the God of this world. There's no doubt in my mind. And his four popes, the red pope is from the Philippines, and he's in charge of LGBTQ and basically Sodom and Gomorrah. He is the debauchery. He's behind the debauchery. And the black pope is the Jesuit general behind all the wars, the military power, basically the United States. He is. And then we have the white pope, who is everyone sees. And then we have the gray pope, who is Orsini. He's, very high up, Rothschild connected, but he's the top guy.
Okay, so let me stop you here for a second, okay? Because you didn't jump into the deep end. You jumped into a black hole.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. No. This is why I wanted to have this conversation, because I feel like you spoke about some things specifically that I want to get into, like the Anunnaki and
Sure.
and the evil intentions and the control, and you spoke about it with love, which
Yes.
which blew me away, but also like hit me right in the heart, because I feel like it's just really deep, right? It's a really incredible connection. That's why I felt connected to you. So just to catch my audience up and myself, just to see if I'm making sense of what you're saying that God, what humanity mostly refers to as God, is a deception.
Yeah.
God is not source, the creator.
No.
So what you're saying is God, that we all think is God, or that a lot of humanity thinks is God, is in control of everything,
Yes.
like we think God is, but is Gadriel, which is a son of God.
Yeah. He was a very high-ranking, beautiful, and the Bible calls him an angel or a serpent, but the Quran, see, I love how Gadriel has put truth and lies in each book, each religion, and only discernment can find these things. And it just proves to me that how brilliant he is. He's spectacular. I mean, he is old too. I mean, he's very ancient, beyond my imagination. But that's who we're dealing with here. We're not dealing with someone that sleeps. He doesn't sleep. But in the Quran, they specify that he's not an angel, but a jinn that was created with smokeless fire, whereas angels were created with light. So they are different, and angels are subservient, but whereas the jinns, have, like us, we can make our own decisions.
Free will, yeah.
But the Bible confirms that he's a jinn, that he can change his form, because it says he can appear like an angel of God. So there you go. There you go. So they confirm each other, but you have to look at all of them to like find it. It was a puzzle. It wasn't simple, just the fact. And I don't blame any priest or minister, because when they go into Bible college, this is the word of God, no ifs, ands, or buts. This is what you teach.
Right.
So they're deceived as well. They have been programmed to program.
Right. And the knowledge goes back so far that that's what I think gives it credibility, right? You're just like, oh, this must be the way, because it's so ancient. Jennifer McCormick says this is amazing and confirms so much what I have found on my deep dives. The books of Enoch are really interesting. So one of the things I wanted to say about what you're talking about and how you're talking about it is, for you, your deep dive was literally every religion, every holy book, every ancient writing, all of the
Mhm.
stories, the Gnostic texts,
Yes.
everything. And again, what I really loved is that it just all seemed to resonate with you, right? Like it just,
Oh yeah.
it made sense to you. And then when you started talking about the Anunnaki, right, which is that, am I going even further back than Gadriel when I'm talking about the
No.
Anunnaki? No.
No. No.
Is
Um,
Gadriel created the Anunnaki? So
no. No. Anunnaki were in the same situation as us. They had a firmament, but they had wars. The thing about the Sumerian tablets is they really make them human. They screw up. They made us look like them. So what we look like is unknown. So they made us in their image, literally, genetically. But the Sumerian tablets shows that they screwed up. The legs are too long, the arms are too short. So they had to keep poking around. And the one who did that was a woman in the Sumerian tablets. And in the Bible, they took her out. Her name is Ruach, and they removed her name, uh, that's the one they call the Spirit of God and the Wind of God, depending on which religious book you're reading. But they hid her, they removed her, but she was the one uh, that was there. And in the Sumerian tablets, it was also a girl. She's known as the Queen of Heaven because she really spawned us and altered us, but they also shortened our lives. So, in early biblical writing, we lived 1,000 years, and even that confused me because if Adam was told if you eat of the apple, you won't live a day, but he lived for 934 years. So, I mean, but then I realized way later, because I thought, well, that's a lie. He lived 900 years. That's not a day. But then I realized that a day for the creator is 1,000 years. So he didn't live a day in creator years. So it went, whoa, there you go. That's true then. So I love that the creators helped me to find answers. It's really my faith that really has given me those directions to go into, like translate the Hebrew. You want to find the truth, you got to go to the original where they were scraping on and tapping and carving words in symbols. Oh, I lost where I was. What was I talking about? This is my favorite topic. It really is. I love talking about it because it's so profound and so important and valuable to the human race, and
Yeah.
the Anunnaki were just another form, another creation. Their father is our father.
So are
There's
you saying that we are Anunnaki? We're kind of
mm,
descendants of Anunnaki. Is that what you're saying? Or
well, no, but we were
genetic experiments?
they genetically modified, and then they started
Mhm,
having sex with us, which
mhm,
showed how lewd and how they may live 400,000 years, but they didn't learn a lot. They didn't have a lot of wisdom or tact. They
mhm,
couldn't
mhm,
keep their hands off,
mhm,
and they
mhm,
took what they wanted. And no, who could say no? I mean, they were powerful. They lived 400,000 years, so I imagine they were beautiful.
mhm,
To look at, and I would see how ancient men would see them as deities,
mhm,
but they were just simply another creation. I mean, look at on Earth, we got birds and ants, and they all have a purpose.
mhm,
And the firefly is the only one that you can see the light inside, because we have the kingdom of heaven is within us, and the firefly shows that light, and it's an example, and that light exists even in an ant.
mhm.
So everything created that lives and breathes has a purpose, and that's the most beautiful thing for me.
And for me too, and I just I love the way you're expressing that, because I feel like, again, that allows the people who are listening to reflect on that, right? To reflect on that idea and to feel it in their bones. I think it's really important. And again, it was kind of the conversation that we were having
Yep.
about the Anunnaki and how they genetically modified us and all of these things that I don't want to say struggle. I'm with you. I believe that words are so important. And so when I speak, a lot of times I go to say something. I'm like, no, that's not the right word, because I
Mhm.
don't want to put a cage around the energy,
Yes.
right? So it's like kind of still trying to learn and accept and even remember, maybe is a better word, right? The things that you're
Mhm.
talking about. But let's put a pause right there, and let's come, and even saying this feels funny to me, right? When I say let's come to the current moment, because one of the things that I believe is that there is only one moment, right? So all of the stuff
Yes.
we're talking about is actually happening now,
Yeah.
in this moment, as well as this moment of you and I on our screens.
Yep. But I can wrap up the Anunnaki.
Okay, if you want, yeah, if you
I'll
want,
just wrap it up
yeah,
because
okay.
they had wars and they damaged their firmament. So that's why they ended up here, because they needed, minerals that they didn't have anymore.
Mhm.
Gold specifically, it was a part of the formula needed to repair their firmament. Now, that when the flood happened, the windows opened and, you know, filled up. Just imagine, a bowl upside down, and you fill it up and it goes over the mountains. That's how the mountains were covered,
Mm,
because it's a firmament. It's just like, a glass of water.
mhm,
You pour it up, it fills up. And so they have access. They figured out how to leave their firmament and open that window, and like, just think Star Trek there.
mhm,
And they came here and they made our lives 1,000 years. But then they changed it to 120 years after they, created a havoc. And then they decided to just kill us all. And then, uh, and then they left.
Well,
But
so actually, I do want to stop you there, and this is
yeah,
part of the story, right? So one of the things that you were saying, in the conversation we had, was the idea of gaining wisdom, right, over a lifetime, and becoming more wise to how things work and what reality is. And I think that's why you're saying they made us 1,000 years, and then we were learning too much. Is that?
uh, yeah, we were learning too much, so they shortened our lives to like 120 years.
Mhm.
And but what we were before, how long we lived before, we may have lived 400,000 years just like them.
Right.
What we were is unknown. There's no record of it anywhere.
Mhm.
So that's why in the Bible Jesus says, "You will do better, greater things than me."
Mhm.
That's because we're coming to a evolution, where
Mhm.
a
Mhm.
restoration, where all mankind that's prepared. And the singing bowls is a part of it, raising your frequency and being in a higher, and living in love and speaking in love, and um, you know raising everyone around you that you can, and just being a positive influence around everywhere you go.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's so valuable at this point, and I think we're getting to that point where we're going to remember. We're going to have a spiritual knowing. We're going to know at that point. And no one, and I believe we were telepathic, because the Bible sets the scene before Anunnaki came, whereas we were in water. We were in water, and in darkness, in the abyss. So
Mhm.
it showed me where we were. So we, like in our mother's womb, we're in water, and we were born into water. Living water that's above the firmament is water that we can live in. We can, live there
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
in the living water. And
And so many of these ideas, I feel like, are expressed in movies that we see, like even the movie The Abyss. You said The Abyss, right?
yes,
And
yep.
right away I thought of that, the water, the creature that was mimicking us, that was made out of water,
Mhm.
and just the whole idea of where it was and all of that. Um, and so that's really what where I wanted to get to right today, like what's happening with humanity, because I know in the circles that I run in, there's so many things happening, and again, you've got to use discernment, right? Because I feel
Yes.
like there's a bit of humanity that's just kind of jumping on a bandwagon, or maybe intentionally trying to deceive
Oh yes,
in the
yes.
name of these things. But like you said, telekinesis and just more abilities that we have as human beings that we forgot, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
as a part of this scheme, right, we were kind of forced to forget, or genetically made to forget.
Yeah.
um so
That's
tell
true.
me, go ahead.
No, no, I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. So tell me, I'm interested in how you came to this conclusion that you just talked about, that really the best place to be energetically, vibrationally, is in love,
Yeah.
and in service to each other. How did you come to that conclusion after all of this exploration?
Right. Because in order to get closer to the creator, you have to come from a place from love, because that's what the creator is, based on, because the creator is a facilitator, omnipresent. And as water, like shown in the Gita, water is one of the material forms, which is oh, so beautiful, because we're mostly water. So that's how the creator is also within us and around us. It's in the air. So absolutely omnipresent. Yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
But a facilitator, life-giving. Water is life-giving. Everything he is life-giving. So it's just an absolutely beautiful thing to discover, uh, who the creator is still an enigma. That's why my name is Enigma,
Hmm. Hmm.
because that's my word for the creator. An
I love that.
absolute enigma, like a whew, I don't think I could handle it. But there's a lot of dark things I did discover on the way.
Hmm.
And like I trust my gut 100%. And everyone should trust your gut. Don't listen to your head or your heart. Forget it. They will run you off the road. But like, remember I said that I didn't want to go to the psychic,
Hmm.
and I didn't know why, but I just felt that in my gut not to go. And
Right.
there's like 9 verses. Leviticus 26. Whoever turns to mediums or spirits to prostitute himself with them, I will also set my face against that person and cut
Hmm.
him off from his people. 1 John 4:1. Beloved, do not believe in every spirit, but test the spirit. So when a medium says, my brother is talking to me, or you know your brother is with you, spirits can mock, or pretend to be someone. And
Hmm.
the thing about the spirit world is they all know each other.
Hmm.
So they know your mother, they know your father, they know you.
Hmm.
So they have a knowing, they
Hmm.
have a spiritual knowing that we don't have. We
Right.
don't feel it, we don't know it. But this is where we're going. This is the beautiful thing about what's coming to for us, is finally an end to the deception and lies.
Hmm.
With a telepathic future, no one can lie to us.
Hmm.
People who love us will know they love us.
Hmm. Hmm.
There will be no questions.
I
There will
love
be
that.
no more dating. If a girl likes you, you'll know. And she'll know how you feel, and no one's feelings will be hurt. And,
Mhm.
real, true friendships and bonds will just instantly happen.
I love the
And
sound of that. Yeah.
it's going to be so incredible.
Amazing, and such a refreshing view from somebody who, like, probably, if I had maybe just seen you speaking about one thing, or come across you in one conversation, I might be like, oh, this guy's all about conspiracy theories and just pass judgment, right, like I was talking about earlier. um
Yep.
but what I loved again about our conversation is that it was just so easy for me to tap into the vibration and not the words necessarily. I don't know if that describes it. It was just where you were coming from, that I think I tapped into, rather than the things that I may or may not believe or be familiar with, you
Mhm.
know what I mean, or understand at this point. And that, I think, is the good thing too about kind of being in this space, is knowing that you might come across information that you need to process somehow.
Mhm.
And even if it feels like you're saying, like your gut is telling you, oh, that information is wrong, you still want to kind of process it, right?
Mhm.
And understand what's wrong and what's right about it, what you need to take from it and what you need to leave from it. So
Yeah.
let me talk about what you said about going to the psychic, because you
Mhm.
were on Holding Space on Tuesday. I had a psychic on my show, and
Yep.
you seemed very responsive to
Yep.
the energy. So I totally get what you're saying about how all spirits are connected. They know everybody. So if they wanted to pretend they were your mom, they could easily emulate, that essence. Um, let's say that. Let's put it that way. But I'm imagining from what you're saying is that you believe that it's not always a deception, that sometimes those spirits are actually communicating. Am I right on
Well,
that?
I, it to me it's forbidden to trust a spirit.
Mm,
If a spirit is talking to you and saying, "I'm your mother," they will know your mother. They will know your history. They'll know your mother's history, and they will be able to
mm,
speak on these things.
mm.
But their goal is to be deceptive because we're not supposed to trust them. It's all over the Bible. It's everywhere.
Mhm,
Let me see if I can find one.
mhm,
Leviticus 20, chapter 20, verse 27 is probably the worst one. A man or a woman who is a medium or spiritualist or spiritist must surely be put to death. They shall be stoned. Their blood is upon them. See, that's kind of like really brutal. I
a
sit
little
in
bit,
a
yeah.
I sit in a place of non-judgment.
Mhm,
I don't judge, but I hope to, you know, maybe let them know that, the spirit world is not always on our side, and they have access to all the information
sure.
that you and they will lie to you as well, and they will deceive you, and they will, it's not a place where we belong at this point, and it's not for us
Okay.
to trust. We really shouldn't put faith in what they say. We
But
have
you're
to.
but you're also saying that we're heading to that place, right? Where we will know the truth. It won't be a deception, because we'll just
Yes.
be in tune. We'll be in tune with it. I mean,
Oh, I can't wait.
well, so I guess that's really my question, right? And I certainly understand what you're saying about the deception, but a lot of
Yeah.
times when I see mediums doing their work, um, messages come through and
Yep.
healing comes through.
Mhm.
And do you think that healing is a part of a deception, or
Absolutely. They want to
they do?
convince you.
Interesting.
They they want approval. They want you to believe them, and they
Mhm,
have the information to convince you.
mhm,
But it is a dark place to be.
mhm,
It's
mhm,
not a place you can trust. Another good example. Oh my God! And just another word. One of the demons is holy.
mhm,
So when the Christians say, I want to bring in the Holy Spirit, whoa, that's not what you want. You have a Holy Spirit already.
mhm,
You
mhm.
don't want to invite spirits, especially holy, which is a demon. It's just crazy how they used words as weapons,
Right.
and
Very.
they have.
Well, it's just really interesting to me, again, because of your acceptance of these energies and what it is, and then again my experience of, I often say that I have a psychic fetish, because I love watching psychic readings where this energy is exchanged and it gets very emotional, and
Yeah, of course.
messages get passed that are healing. So what I'm trying to just wrap my head around is the deception. What's the purpose of that being
Build,
a deception?
building trust,
Building trust. Okay.
convincing you, winning you
Interesting.
over.
Interesting.
It is, but it is. Someone just opened my door. It's very strange. Uh, yeah, it is. It is not. It's just not trustworthy because they have access. They know all this stuff that we are going to know.
Right.
It is forbidden. I mean,
But again, so again, Paul, just and help me out here. Just explain to me the healing, right? I mean,
yeah,
again, I do understand what you're saying, right? So if a spirit who certainly would have the ability to make me feel a certain emotion, right? To make me feel like I'm feeling better, could do that. I definitely understand what
I
you're saying, but what's
yeah,
the I'm not finding the purpose, because I feel like people often leave those experiences feeling better about the loved one that has passed on, knowing in their head maybe that things are okay. Uh,
yeah.
knowing that death isn't the end, right? Even that idea, I
Yeah.
think, is very healing for many people.
Well, Leviticus is very harsh in many ways. The whole book is pretty harsh. But like another better perspective, 1 John chapter 4, verse 1, beloved, do not believe every spirit,
Hmm.
but test the spirits to
Hmm.
see whether they are from the Creator.
Hmm.
For many false prophets have gone out into the world.
Sure.
And that's really my warning. It's not a place of judgment, but it just wisdom is really important. The Anunnaki didn't have wisdom.
Hmm.
I mean, what they did to us was like a crime against humanity.
Hmm.
They had no right to do that. They used us.
Hmm.
They used and abused us, and their abuse is ending. Gadriel is just he's not really our enemy. He just doesn't think we're worthy of the Creator.
Hmm.
And and I think in a lot of ways he's right, because we have been easily fooled and easily misled, because we didn't have the faith enough to seek and find. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of people don't have the time. They have kids and jobs, and so they don't have time to do what I did and just dig right in there and retranslate word for word.
Hmm.
But that's because I love that I live, and I love that there's a creator. Like as soon as that rope broke and I saw it was flat, I knew there was a creator.
Hmm. Hmm.
I thought to myself, I'm really not that smart. I'm really not important. I'm just a starving artist, a musician, a singer, and I think I was too hard on myself, but it's a part of my humility and my being
Sure.
humble and
Yeah.
meek.
Sure.
Um, I
Well, then
see us
it sounds
all
like,
valued.
yeah, it sounds like you recognize your spirit beyond the human, that you are. You know what I mean? But beyond
Yep.
the human experience, you connected with that
But
spirit.
I value everyone. I
Yeah.
think everyone is beautiful and a part of this
Mm.
creation and connected to each other. We
Yeah.
just don't realize it. And Gadriel, we're connected to Gadriel. Gadriel's got the same father as we do. He's just another form and a higher form. And the Anunnaki just showed that, the creator made, you know, these beings that lived over 400,000 years.
Hmm.
And even though they lived that long, they were still idiots. Even though they had genetically and cloning and all that crap,
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
what I want to know is what we were before they came. And that's why we're going to do greater things than Yahusha. We're going to do
I
bigger,
know, I
bigger,
love that.
better.
I feel that too. I know for me, there were some moments around COVID, and the things that were going on that I was very uncertain about
Hmm.
what I felt, you know what I mean, and who I was and where we were. And I know in the last couple of years, I feel really excited about
Yeah.
where we're going. I do feel like we've still got some dark stuff to get through, as a race, but I feel
Yeah.
like we will get through that. I feel like that's not the point, is we will, right? Is
Yep.
that's the point. So
But
let me go ahead. You have something?
oh, sorry. Well, New Babylon is destroyed by fire. We have fire right now. The COVID had the light of the firefly in it.
Mhm.
You.
Mhm.
That's why the lamp within you ascends forever and ever. Like the light goes out of people,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
when you inject a light, that's why it had to be minus 50 degrees to keep the light alive.
Mhm. Mhm.
And they used the firefly light and inject it into people. And as soon as you inject a living light into your body, the light of the Creator leaves. That's why the puff of smoke ascends forever and ever. It's a stealing of the souls.
Mhm.
But this is Gadriel again.
Mhm. Mhm.
Gadriel is behind the chemtrails, the vaccines, and it's all brilliant. I looked at every ingredient of the vaccines. I tested rainwater to find out exactly what they were spraying, and I analyzed it, every ingredient, and I know exactly what he's doing. And I know exactly that mankind didn't do this. we would never even consider putting these ingredients into our food, our breakfast cereals for children. These aren't things that are human. These are not human things. This is Gadro, and this is his end game. We're at the end game. He's playing out his script. It's his script. You know, the lamp shines in thee no more. No more bridegroom, no more bride. That's why the light shines no more, is because it was stolen. And that was how it happened, through the bite of the snake, the serpent, the needle.
Wow. So, okay. So again, this is
Sorry.
no, don't be silly. I'm hoping that my audience is enjoying this. I think that they are. I know I am. I guess I kind of feel like there's obviously so many things, right, that we can talk about. So let me not change the subject, but where does that fit? Like, you're talking about the Anunnaki, you're talking about a specific story of humanity, and us. But let's open that story up. Where does the Anunnaki fit in? Do you believe that there's a galactic council? What is that all about?
I think there are. I think the creator didn't stop with just us or the Anunnaki. I'm sure there's multiple, because I don't think the creator ever stops creating. So we just look at the earth and we can see the imagination. The only thing I'm glad I wasn't born as a male praying mantis, because one time and that's it. one time you have a good time and that's it. But yes, that's my silliness there.
That's funny. Okay, so then let's even talk about that. Take that a step further. Reincarnation.
Yeah, that is. See, we're eternal. I don't know if we return. I would hope not. I would hope that we would get closer to the creator and be brighter and shining and being a part of creation. I look forward to that. I look forward to being surrounded with love.
Sure. Well, the reason I said that was because you talked about being grateful that you weren't born a male praying mantis, and I'm just thinking, well, maybe there was a go around at one point that you did experience that. You know what I mean? Because that's part of my belief system.
Yeah, I probably was.
Yeah, we're energy.
And I thought, hey, I'm stuck.
Yeah. So like, if I believe that we're energy and that we're eternal, then I also believe that we have all experienced all existences as each existence, right? So I have friends who are very spiritual, and they talk to whether they're channelers or whatever, and they say, hey, I was Ra in one life, and they kind of, I feel like they let it go to their head a little bit, because I'm almost sitting there going, yeah, me too. You know what I mean? Like I was also, but I think some people kind of let it go to their head. But I think, and again, and I'm compassionate for that, because I feel like that's their journey, right? Is to kind of go through whatever existence they're in that moment, believing what they believe, no matter who they are or what they are. I feel like you said, everybody is perfect. Everybody is beautiful. Everybody is exactly what they're supposed to be, even if it doesn't feel like it. You know what I mean? Or it doesn't look like it to somebody else. It's just this perception, this perspective of life that I think we share, that allows us to stay sane, quote unquote, right?
I'll be honest. For even now, since I was 16, I thought I died and was brought here into this existence, because I don't think I would have survived. The rope was big enough. I should have been dead. I landed on a concrete floor. It was the rope itself that showed me that there's a creator, because I know how rope breaks. So I knew, and there was no one else there, so no one saved me. And so I've been wanting to go back there to see if the rope is still there. It's in the city I live in, but I am so chicken to go there and say rest in see something that says someone died here. So you know what I mean, there's a part of me
Yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
fears
Do you think
finding out.
maybe, yeah, maybe you think maybe you jump timelines and you're in
I
a
don't
different
know.
existence now?
I don't. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. I don't know.
interesting.
But the creator is very
Creative.
much of an enigma.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's possible. I mean, if you can imagine it, it is possible. I mean, we're here to speculate, and I love to do that. But yeah, that is a little scary for me. So I never went back. I even
Wow.
called them and I said, I want to go back there. And something happened to me in the basement. I want to just see if the rope is still there because it's my
Wow.
evidence, really.
That would be nuts.
Yeah, the rope, like rope was around my neck and there was still rope from the ceiling and they were both flat.
Wow.
And but that changed my life. It really did. It was exciting. And my father, he was drinking and drugs, and my faith, he told everyone, because he ended up in the Bible college and becoming a missionary, and he told everyone it was because of me,
Wow.
because of my faith. It inspired him. And my faith is, it doesn't have a flag. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Christian. I'm like a theologian. I want to know what everyone has to say without,
I love
you
that.
know, without putting all my eggs in one basket, because no matter where you're from, it doesn't mean where your geographical birth is a lie. There's got to be some truth in there as well, because
Mhm.
every landmass has a history
Mhm.
and archaeological evidence.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
want to know everything.
I love it, Paul. Yeah, Paul. Yeah, this is amazing. I can't tell you how much I enjoyed this conversation. I can't even believe that an hour is gone. Um,
Yeah.
it's so much fun to talk about, and I really got to have you on again. And I feel like I've got to utilize your perspective and come at you with a specific topic and talk about something specific, because again,
Yeah.
there's so much that it's, and all of it, like we were talking about before the show. If you believe in infinite possibilities, then anything is possible. And
Anything.
and I believe it's not only all possible, but it all is. It all actually is. Um, and I'm imagining you kind of share that philosophy.
It's going to be great, and you're right. We could do hours and hours and hours and hours, because I love talking about this. So yeah, I would love to come back and delve into any corner you like, because I love them all. You know.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm going to ask you one question, and I'm going to ask you to kind of give it a short answer. Maybe we could leave this off as like a cliffhanger, right, for part two. And that is really what this show was based on, right? And when I started the show, the first question I would ask this question because I believed, one, that there was no wrong answer. I believed, two, that all of the answers stuck together and created this big snowball of
Mhm.
the answer, and that is, what is consciousness?
Well, consciousness, like that goes right into the Gita again, where they show 8 material forms. One is ego and ether, earth. Isn't that beautiful? Earth. That's
Mhm.
when you're grounding. You touch the earth. I love that. And life comes from it. I mean, it like water. Life comes from water. Life comes from earth. Everything that the Creator is life giving, and being and the awakening that we're coming from, the consciousness, the spiritual awakening, is what I can't wait for. I'm so excited, because it's going to be the most beautiful and profound time in history for our species, mankind.
Mhm. Yeah, I believe it. I totally believe it. Let me just make a quick banner here for you. It's so people can find your podcast. It's called The Truth Table. Uh, and I don't think you have a web page for it, but you have a YouTube channel. So if you go to YouTube and type The Truth Table, you can find Paul's. How many seasons did you do of that? 3 or 4 seasons?
3 seasons, but the last season, I was April to July, was specific. It was a special series about raising frequencies, like the bowl that you have. Was
Mhm.
I was showing different ways to raise your frequencies, um, and tapping even,
Mm-hmm.
with, the creator is within me. I am with the creator. I am that I am. Just
I love it.
anything positive that you can bring to others and yourself will help you raise up and prepare yourself for what's coming.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. I love it. That's interesting. You brought up tapping. I remember for a while I was tapping, and I was just amazed at
Yeah.
how simple it was and how
Yep.
connected it felt, and how much sense it made, even though it looked nonsensical. It just made sense.
It does. It's self. It's self. Oh my goodness. Sorry, forgot the word. It's like pampering yourself. It's loving yourself,
Mhm.
and assuring yourself that you're loved, and it's just
I love it.
positive
I
affirmations
love it.
to
I love
self.
it.
And my page is on Paul Everton on Facebook, and all my sites are YouTube and Rumble and Patreon, and I can be found all over the place. And you can watch each series if you find something you want to learn about or hear about. I delve into everything like you, my brother.
Yeah, yeah. So much fun. And also, if you dig, you could see Paul playing what's the song? Look, Mummy, there's a bird up in the sky. It's Pink Floyd. Really beautiful version of it. And as Paul said at the beginning, he was an accomplished musician. He's got an award right behind him there for original instrumental music. That's like, if you're a musician, that's like unheard of. You're like, oh my God, how the heck did you achieve that? That's just amazing. So kudos to you. Thank you so much for coming into my life. I really appreciate having a new friend. I'm excited for us to jibber jabber on Facebook and pass some things back and forth, and
100%.
eventually have you here again.
Yeah, I look forward to it.
So thank you. And
Thank you.
for you guys, Tuesdays, holding space, Thursdays, the live stream of consciousness. Often I have a schedule and I know who I'm going to be, but often I don't. So it's just like life. You know what I mean? Just show up, and it'll be a good time. And I promise you that. And much love to everybody. Peace until next week. Adios.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Paul. Peace.
This is the theme song for the live stream of consciousness. You gotta ask yourself whether reality is a dream or you are dream for reality. We are all a part of the answer to the meaning of it all. Come in and join us.